Hi, is that Dan? Hi Dan, this is Yaz calling from Consumer Credit. I've just got some advice ready to give you. Is this a good time to talk? Do you have a piece of paper and a pen on you just in case you want to write any of these notes down? Okay, so I'm just going to read out the advice. If you want me to repeat anything or if you have any questions, please let me know. So, if you miss a payment on a loan, you are in default. A lender cannot take action against you until they have issued you with a default notice. This notice will tell you that you have at least 30 days to pay the arrears. If you do not pay this within the 30-day period, then the lender can take enforcement action against you, including repossessing the car. You have instructed us that you cannot afford the loan repayments, so you have several options here. Your options include 1. Selling the car yourself with Westpac's consent, 2. Allow the car to be repossessed and sold by Westpac, or 3. Surrender the car to Westpac. So I'll just give you a bit more details about each of those options. So the first option that you have is to sell your car yourself. If you choose to sell the car yourself, you should notify Westpac first and get their permission before agreeing with the buyer to sell the car. Note that interest continues to accrue on the debt of $35,000 until that is paid off entirely. Your next option is to allow the car to be repossessed. So, once the 30-day period set out in the default notice has passed, Westpac may repossess the car. Repossession costs incurred by Westpac will be added to the debt of $35,000. Westpac may sell the car or put the sales of proceeds towards repaying the debt. Please note that Westpac is not obliged to sell the car immediately. Again, note that interest continues to accrue on the debt until it is paid off entirely. Now, a thing to note is that Westpac must not repossess the car while it is parked on your private property unless you give Westpac your consent or Westpac has a court order. If you do not consent to repossession and Westpac then gets a court order, Westpac will add these court costs to the debt. All expenses for repossession attempts and any court proceedings will be charged to the loan amount. Your final option is surrender. You may decide to surrender the car to Westpac for them to sell. Again, Westpac is not obliged to sell the car immediately, and again, interest continues to accrue on the debt until it is paid off entirely. Okay, the next thing I want to discuss is a shortfall debt. From your instructions, it appears that the debt of $35,000 is greater than the current value of the car. It is possible that the sales from the car may not cover the full debt. This difference is the shortfall debt. You may wish to negotiate a repayment plan to pay back the shortfall debt. If you do not pay back the shortfall debt, then Westpac may get a court order to seize and sell more of your property to pay the shortfall debt. Please note that you are liable for the full debt and you must repay all in full. The next thing I want to discuss is financial counselling. You may wish to get some financial counselling from a trained counsellor. This is a free service. A financial counsellor can provide you with budgeting advice and possibly help you negotiate with Westpac. The closest counselling service to you is the Jacaranda Community Centre in Belmont. You will need to contact them to make an appointment, and I have their number here for you. It is The final issue you raised with me in the first phone call was bankruptcy. Unfortunately, Consumer Credit Legal Service of Western Australia does not advise on bankruptcy, and I can refer you to the Australian Financial Security Authority, and you can contact them on 1300 364 785, or you can visit their website at www.afsa.gov.au. And as I said, with the financial counsellor, additionally, they might be able to give you some further advice on bankruptcy. I hope you understood all the information and advice given to you. Did you want me to repeat anything, or did you have any questions? Sorry to hear that. As I said, unfortunately, that's not within our funding, and we don't have the expertise to help you with bankruptcy. The Australian Financial Security Authority, which I gave you the number, will be able to give you the best advice in relation to that. No worries. Hi Dan, this is Yaz calling from Consumer Credit. I've just got some legal advice. Is this a good time to talk? Do you have a piece of paper and pen handy just in case you want to take any notes? Okay, so I have your advice drafted here. I'm just going to read it out, and if you want me to repeat or if you have any questions, please let me know. So, Dan, you told me that you hadn't made a loan repayment in over 2 years. This means you are in default. Westpac cannot take any action against you until they have issued you with a default notice. This notice will tell you that you have at least 30 days to pay the arrears. Arrears is money you owe to Westpac. If you do not pay this amount within the 30-day period, Westpac can take legal action against you, including repossessing your car. You have instructed us that you cannot afford the loan repayments of $12 per week because you are currently not working. If you do not wish to have legal action taken against you for the debt, then you have several options. The first option you have is selling your car. If you choose to sell your car yourself, you must first get Westpac's permission before agreeing with a buyer to sell the car. Please be aware that interest continues to accrue on the debt until it is paid off entirely. Your second option is to allow the car to be repossessed. Once the 30-day period set out in the default notice has passed, Westpac may repossess the car. Repossession costs paid by Westpac will be added to your debt. Westpac may sell the car and put the sales of proceeds towards repaying your debt. You should be aware that Westpac is not obliged to sell your car immediately. Again, please note that interest continues to accrue on the debt until it is paid off entirely. Now, Westpac must not repossess a car if it is parked on your private property unless you or the person living in the house allows them to take it, or if Westpac has a court order. If you don't give Westpac permission to take the car and Westpac then gets a court order, Westpac will add the court costs to your debt. All expenses for repossession attempts and any court action will be charged to your loan account. Another option that you have is surrender. You may decide to surrender the car to Westpac for them to sell it. Again, Westpac is not obliged to sell the car immediately, and once again, interest continues to accrue on the debt until it is paid off entirely. If you choose to surrender the car, you should contact Westpac to discuss the procedure on how to surrender. Did you want the Westpac's details? No problem. The next thing I want to discuss is shortfall debt. You told me the car was broken and was not working, and that the debt is greater than the current value of the car. If the sale proceeds do not cover the debt in full, then the difference is the shortfall debt. You may wish to negotiate a repayment plan to pay back the shortfall debt. If you do not pay back the shortfall debt, Westpac may get a court order to seize and sell more of your assets to pay the debt. For example, Westpac may try to seize your home to pay the shortfall. Please be aware you are liable for the full debt and must pay it in full. You also raised the issue of bankruptcy in our earlier phone call today. Unfortunately, we do not advise on bankruptcy. Because CCLSWA is not funded to provide this service, and we don't have the expertise required to assist you. What I can do is refer you to the Australian Financial Security Authority. Would you like that referral? The final thing I wanted to discuss was financial counselling. I can also refer you to a trained financial counsellor. This is a free service and can provide you with budgeting advice, information on bankruptcy, and possibly help you negotiate with Westpac. Would you like me to give you that referral too? Now, Dan, I know I've given you a lot of information. What hasn't been clear to you? Dan, you can apply for bankruptcy. However, CCLSWA is not funded to provide this service and therefore don't have the expertise. So if you would like some more information on bankruptcy, it would be best to contact the Australian Financial Security Authority, which you have their number, or discuss this matter further with your financial counsellor. Are you happy with all the advice given? Do you have any more questions? No problem. I hope we've helped you today. You're most welcome.